Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. And well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what it is with Manchester United and second half comebacks, but it's for the second weekend in a row that they have come back in the Premier League. Last week it was 2-0 down and then pulling it back to 3-2. This week it's 1-0 down and pulling it back to 3-1. Brilliant win for Manchester United, though. I mean, it's another away win. They still remain perfect away from home. That's something that's an interesting record to have. But I mean, tell you what, that first half, I went to sleep late last night, and I felt like I made a mistake sleeping late because the game put me to sleep in that first half. This was so. I guess the word for it these days is tactical, but I call it boring. It was very boring to watch. But I mean, there's so much to talk about, and I mean, the key talking point a lot of people will say is that that second half, when that second at halftime, when the second half was about to start, I think a lot of people would have been saying, why is Donny van de Beek making way for Bruno Fernandes? It should have been Paul Pogba. And I would agree with every one of them. I would say at halftime, I think Paul Pogba should have been the one to come off, and Donny should have stayed on, and then you bring on Bruno. But Solskjaer took that risk. The second risk that he took was he took off Cavani for Rashford. And I think a lot of people would have said take off Mason Greenwood because I mean both of them had shockers, both of them had real bad games, and again same with Greenwood was just not getting into the game. But the first two goals that United scored were from Paul Pogba and Mason Greenwood, and yeah, they were really well taken goals. And Pogba, and that's the thing about Paul Pogba, isn't it? He's the kind of player that he can go from the absolute ridiculous to the sublime to the ridiculous. I think he had a pretty bad first half. There's no getting around it. It was pretty poor throughout that game, and a lot of times there were points where he's such a good passer of the ball, but it just feels like he doesn't want to pass the ball. I don't know. It's like one of those things where you're strong in something, but you just don't want to do it. And I don't know what the reason with Paul Pogba is, why he always continuously tries to run past players instead of passing it. But he's a great passer of the ball. His technical ability is second to none. I don't think anybody else on that team could have scored the goal the way he did. And that's what it is. He possesses all that in his locker. The issue with Paul Pogba will always be that he can't do this week in, week out. And even within games, he'll have good moments and then have really bad moments. He can't be consistent. But and that's we're not going to go in on it. I think it was a wonderful, very well taken goal. Same with Mason Greenwood. I think first half he looked like he wanted to be anywhere other than the football field, and the way he was playing was pretty bad. Not at all getting the game. I think he was burdened by the fact that he had to help Van Bissaka out on that right wing as well. I noticed quite a lot of times that he was being asked to track back and help out Van Bissaka, and he was having to do that, and that was affecting his game. And I think anybody would have said, take him off, but he stays on, has a wonderful control with for that second goal, because Telles's cross isn't necessarily the best. It does come in pretty nicely. In the end, it sits up nicely for him to pull it back, but he still has to do a lot of work. He pulls it back and then drags it beyond Fabianski. Really wonderful, wonderfully well done. And that third goal, Rashford should have scored one before that, but he hits on the post. That was actually probably the easier chance that he hits on the post, and then he gets the second chance and he puts it away. Wonderful chipped goal. And again, I don't know what happened, but we'll try to analyze this game by game, because we'll look at the first half. I think West Ham had a clear plan. They knew what they wanted to do, and the United didn't start Bruno Fernandes, which I thought was a decent was an understandable decision. I know whenever you don't start Bruno Fernandes, there's always question marks, but I think considering the fact that they have to play Leipzig, which is a massive game on Tuesday, then they've got to play Manchester City, which is another big game, and he's played about 3 or 4 games in a row. I think this probably was the last chance that Solskjaer would have had to rest him for a little bit. So he gave him that rest. I don't think he wanted to bring him on at halftime. I think he was hoping that he would be able to bring him on in the 60th minute. But he, needs must, he had to bring him on. But at least he got 45 minutes off. So that's understandable. But without him, I think what West Ham realized was all they had to do was congest that center of the park. And that's what they did. Soucek, Rice, Ogbonna, every chance that they got, they were immediately hounding Paul Pogba. They were immediately hounding Scott McTominay, and they were trying to win the ball very, very, very quickly up in high areas. Because United didn't have the threat of Marcus Rashford or Bruno Fernandes, they knew that Cavani doesn't have the pace to run it past them, so they could push higher up. And same with Pogba and Donny van de Beek don't really have that ability to find space the way that Bruno Fernandes does. So they were confident in knowing that they could compress the pitch, because they knew United didn't have the tools to hurt them. And that's how they were creating chance. And at first it was a game of attrition, but then West Ham slowly started get tightening their grip on the game, and they had a lot of chances. One else hit one on the post. There was, I think, a couple of really good saves. And then that goal, which was again off the corner, really poor marking, and Cavani playing. Everybody, there was no three players behind. There was no chance of an offside. It was really well. Nobody marking Soucek at the back post for whatever reason. I don't know how he's allowed to get a free run, but he runs in free. It was a very well worked goal. All four goals were actually pretty high quality in this game. It was a very, very high quality game in some regards, and it was a wonderfully well worked goal for West Ham. West Ham should have been 2 or 3 nil up at the. And there was also another chance for Haller when he was clean through on goal, and then for some reason just slipped when he had to hit the shot on the second time. I don't know what happened there, but they got away with that. And it should have been 3 nil up at halftime West Ham, and they'll rue those chances. They'll rue those missed chances at the end of this game. But United were lucky to be going in 1-0. They should have been 3-0 down. But credit to Solskjaer, they were gambles. He took big gambles, and I think had United lost this game, a lot of questions are being asked as to why Greenwood stayed on, as to why Pogba stayed on, especially when Martial had to go off injured, and then the fact that they had to bring on, and then Mata came on, and I was like, why Mata is coming on? Why is Mata coming on? And he gets that assist for that goal. So I think it was one of those games where all his gambles paid off, and that's kind of you kind of need a little bit of luck on your way as well. So you're not going to complain about that. The team wins, you can't really complain about the decisions that were taken. And fair play to Ole, because Pogba repaid that faith with a wonderful goal. Mason Greenwood repaid that faith with a wonderful goal. Had Martial not gone off injured, I don't think Greenwood would have played the full 90. I think he would have probably been subbed off at some point for Mata or Daniel James, whoever. But again, Mata comes on, and then he gets a nice assist for Rashford's goal. So everybody justified the faith, and that was good to see today. I think that's something you want to see from the players and from the manager. But that second half, I think, and I tweeted this out. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted this out. The difference that Bruno Fernandes makes is not just with his goals and assists. Today he just got one assist, and that was for the Pogba goal, and that's really a stat pad assist. It's not really an assist. It's a stat pad assist. But what he brings to the team is the fact that he sets that tempo. He dictates the kind of runs that players have to make, the kind of passes, the kind of movement that players have to make. He dictates the play. And that's his worth is beyond just the numbers that he puts up. And he puts up great numbers, but his worth is beyond the numbers, and that's the key. And once he came on, I think West Ham started dropping off a little bit because they were conscious. Him and Rashford, because Rashford has a pace to go in behind. West Ham dropped off a little bit. They were trying to catch them offside a little bit, so they started leaving spaces. In fact, but basically what happened was they started dropping off at first, and so Bruno had time to measure passes, things, find space, and you could see immediately the market improvement in the play. Even before that first goal that United scored, there was a real improvement in that play. And then that first goal happened. And the thing about that first goal, a lot of people asking, was it out of bounds or not? I couldn't tell. I mean, the fact is the angles that they were showing were pretty crap. I think you need a straight angle so you can see. There's no way with the angles that they were showing on TV. And I don't know if other broadcasters had different views, but from the view that I could see, I just couldn't make out whether it was whether it was out or not, because it was showing diagonal angles. Like, we can't really tell if that's out or not. So you got to go with the on-field referee's decision. If it's inconclusive, which is what it was, it was inconclusive. And then Bruno found that pass, and I think basically what happened is as soon as they got that second goal that United got, which was again very good interplay between Bruno, Teles, and I think even Pogba was involved, but it was wonderfully well taken. I think West Ham started compressing the pitch again because they thought, okay, hang on, this whole dropping back isn't working, because they had to drop back because of the pace. So they tried to compress it, and then there were a couple more chances. So it was good to see. It was good to see a little bit of adaptability and flexibility tactically for Manchester United, and that's what was needed to win this game. But it was not a game without issues, and I think the biggest issue now will be Anthony Martial. He had a pretty bad game on the wing. He wasn't that much better as a striker. A lot of people, there's a big debate. Is he a winger? Is he a striker? I don't think he's that much better as a winger or as a striker. I think he's someone who can play either as a winger or a striker. But at the moment, he's not good as either. And I don't know what's happened. Last season, he was quite clearly better than Marcus Rashford towards the end of the season. But it looks like he's forgotten how to play football all of a sudden. He just doesn't look at it. And maybe now he's got injured again. He's had a lot of injury problems, a lot of issues this season. And you just have to hope, because this is such a critical season for him, you just have to hope he can recover from it. But at the moment, he's struggling. He's struggling big time. And watching Greenwood, I think Greenwood not having to play with Martial actually released him a lot, and he felt much, much more freer once. And it's no surprise that United scored 3 immediately after Martial went off for whatever reason. I think there is an issue there, and you'd hope that it's not something that can't be resolved. I think he needs to buck up and really work hard. to get back to the level that he was at the end of last season. But we'll see what happens there with Martial. I think that's probably the biggest negative that you would have to take from this game. Is Anthony Martial's performance today. I think the other issue was, it was an issue in the first half where Van Bissaka was getting skinned like about 3 or 4 times. He got skinned in that towards the end of that first half, and it might just have been a case of United pushing forward trying to get the equalizer. But there were 3 or 4 chances where there was one, where the players could have been one on one with the goalkeeper, and I think Van Bissaka was at fault for that, and that is another major issue that needs to be resolved. And again, it goes back to the defense, really. But we're kind of nitpicking. I think it's a great result for Manchester United. It's a wonderful performance for them. 3-1 in the end. And again, Manchester United perfect now in away games. It's too bad that United are actually playing a City at home. But that's what's happening. I think we'll just take a quick look at the fixtures right now. You got City at home and Leipzig away. So that will be the big game. Leipzig actually losing to Bayern Munich, although that's not a surprise really. That's just the way it sometimes is. Actually, they didn't lose. It was 3-3. It's fantastic. Actually, it was losing, but no, it actually drew 3-3. A fantastic game for Leipzig, and I mean, drawing with Bayern Munich is always a brilliant a result at any point. So I think Leipzig will be feeling really, really pumped up for it. The fact that they did it at the Allianz Arena is even greater. The one thing about Leipzig is the fact that they are defensively susceptible. They're wonderful going forward, but they're defensively susceptible. So as long as United can sort that defense out, they have a chance to at least get away with the draw, which is what they need. So, but we'll see. That will be that will not be an easy game at all. It'll be a very, very difficult game. But at the moment for Manchester United, things are looking a little bit better. West Ham were fifth. A lot of people look at West Ham and go, mid-table. They're not. They were fifth actually before the start of this fixture. But now United have jumped above them. They're now into fourth, although a lot of teams are yet to play games. This is actually where they would be had they played the same number of games as the other big six teams. So right now they're fourth, but obviously Chelsea still have to play. Liverpool and Tottenham also yet to play. So they will probably pull ahead. But Chelsea are now, and United are level on points. Chelsea are ahead on goal difference, but Chelsea have to play Leeds later today. But wonderful result. It's finished West Ham 1, Manchester United 3. Brilliant game of football. The first half was really bad. So if you're going to watch the highlights, don't watch the first half, because that was just, aside from the goal, if you want to watch it, but it was really, really boring. But that second half, that was just something. Something special. And by the way, the one thing that we need to talk about is Bruno Fernandes. One person I didn't talk about actually, almost forgot about it. Bruno Fernandes. Fantastic player. I mean, he doesn't play the first half. United look like a mid-table relegation sort of team. He comes on in the second half and he takes United to fourth. That's who he is. That's what he is. He is quite frankly, I think at this point you have to say that there are very few players in the Premier League on his level at the moment. He's and the worst part is there's nobody at Manchester United who can do what he can do and who can play in that role that he plays. And that's going to be a problem if something ever happens, God forbid. But if something ever happens to Bruno Fernandes, I think United, their season, it's not an exaggeration to say their season could be over. At that point itself, their season could be over. So that will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's challenge to figure out what he's going to do when he does, if and when he doesn't have, because all begins that Bruno has to be rested. So what does he do when Bruno is not around? That will be his biggest challenge at the moment. But for now, they can enjoy that. I think Bruno Fernandes had created 8 chances in 45 minutes. That's the highest. I think that's the Premier League record as well. So yeah, amazing, incredible player. And United are very, very lucky to have him. But if you enjoyed this video, please remember to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel. If you are new and want to keep producing such content, we may not be able to do as many match reaction videos this weekend. I've got other things going on at the moment, so I'm not able to do as many as I normally do. But I will try to do maybe a couple tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But please remember to subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate the support, and we want to keep producing content like this. So please help us. Help you in a way and entertain you as much as we can. But thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Enjoy, Manchester United fans, and take care. Bye-bye.